So I can tell you that it is 99% of sexual perpetrators are male. You can look that up right now.
That's false.
Yeah. I'm telling you, this is what bugs me about men who say things like that. That is willful ignorance.
When I watch this man sit and arrogantly deny a factual reality that men are the majority of perpetrators of sexual assault and rape, as backed by data sets analyzed by experts from government institutions like the CDC to nonprofit organizations like the National Sexual Violence Resource Center, a few thoughts come to mind. But because I'm not trying to get what I think will be an important video banned by the inconsistent application of TikTok community guidelines, I'm going to save some of my most prominent and vibrant thoughts to myself. But you can imagine that there's a lot of the word fuck thrown in there. What I really want to talk about here is this idea of weaponized ignorance. Think of this as the more sinister cousin of weaponized incompetence, which is the idea that people, particularly men, pretend to be bad at simple tasks to get out of doing shared responsibilities. In this case, weaponized ignorance is pretending that facts are not real, so you can continue to act on things as you see fit with impunity. And in this particular instance, it's so you can continue to treat women like garbage and prop up a patriarchal system that affords you an endless amount of unearned privileges at the expense of women. Sometimes it can be a fine line to draw between actual idiocy and purposely weaponized ignorance. Like this commenter, who not only called me a feminazi, but spelled it wrong, and then doubled down on the fact that his spelling was right. You really can't make this shit up. And in the US House and Senate right now, we have some of these actually stupid people in positions of authority. Think the Lauren Boeberts and Marjorie Taylor Greenes of the world. But what if I told you that so many of the Republicans in government who decry liberal college education and intellectual elitists as trampling on the heart of true blue-collar Americans are actually themselves graduates of some of the most elite institutions in the country? Ted Cruz is a Princeton grad. Ron DeSantis went to Harvard for undergrad and Yale to get his JD. Josh Hawley has a bachelor's from Stanford and a law degree also from Yale. And yet, these are the same dudes who claim to want to ban everything from drag queens to books to Disney World and DE&I and anything that hints that gay people and dinosaurs are actually real. These are the same guys that saluted January 6th insurrectionists, fought to overturn the 2020 election results, and say human trafficking can be resolved if we stop giving women access to birth control. In fact, there are even more Republicans in government who have Ivy League degrees who purposefully play dumb with the ill-informed GOP base that has been fostered over time so that they can manipulate and exploit them to stay in power. As long as they keep them angry and frothing over these social issues, these same Republicans will keep cashing their checks from the NRA and Christian lobby, while the majority of their constituents worry about where their next meal is coming from, or if they're one health issue away from being absolutely destitute. And this is what we call weaponized ignorance. It is at the crux of it all, my friends. When facts and information no longer mean anything, the only thing that's left behind to fill the space is hate. Sexism, racism, transphobia, homophobia, xenophobia, you name it. And on some level, that makes sense, right? Learning about public policy, political science, economics is pretty hard. And it's often out of reach for so many Americans who can't afford to go to college and don't have access to good public education growing up. So when you say things that are easier to grasp, like Democrats want to murder babies and turn our kids gay, that's something they can get behind. And it's a very dangerous something. People ultimately need to wake up. Being ignorant is not a badge of honor. It's a target on your back. And the sooner you realize it, the sooner we can get to the business of actually creating a country that works for everyone.